Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. I'll move up here. If you want to go, if you would like to stay, we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you an update on the theater front. Kai went to go take Lori home. You can, oh, he didn't. All right. I'm like a school teacher. I wait till everybody's quiet. Not going to waste my breath. All right, those of you in the back, I am a school teacher. And I always, I don't talk until the room is quiet. I don't waste my breath. No, I actually learned that you actually diminish the value of what you have to say by talking while everybody's talking, right? Because you're basically saying it doesn't matter if it falls on your ears or not. Just a little tidbit if you're going into education. All right. First of all, let me say to you that opening the front of the building in the middle of winter was definitely not our plan, but we are immensely, overwhelmingly grateful that Brett was willing to do this. It wasn't our idea, it was Brett's idea. And where's Kai? Oh, there you are. You got a haircut. I don't recognize you. So he had called and told us we will be into your building on Monday the 29th. And then I drove, on my day off Monday, I drove by and I thought, what on tarnation, what has happened here? And mind you, the ground was clear that Monday. There was no snow on the ground. I thought, right on, we are into this. So Kai and I scrambled. We are so grateful for the work they're doing, but it also meant that our transition of losing rooms, that timetable changed entirely. So for that, we apologize, but we also know you understand. You understand how grateful we are, and pretty much if Brett said that we had to, I don't know, say jump, we're just going to jump. That's basically what we're doing. So pardon the fact that you saw the front of this building open up before we even got to give you a heads up. Guess what? The building's opening up. So what we did was he worked on the outside first, and he's pulling back to what you see there. And in the meantime, I got a hold of the Alpha Architectural and said, oh, remember that sign you put in storage? Could you pull that back out and then finish it up? Because it looks like we're going to do this thing. And it's not thing, it's thing. We are going to do this thing. That's really what it is. So we did that. Fernando, as a matter of fact, can you go? Oh, okay. Okay, no worries. There are some pictures of what we saw on Monday start to happen, is that front being pulled down. Then he said, I cannot order the beam for this until I actually rip the ceiling off to see what's underneath. Because remember, this building has been altered at least, what was it? I know Merle knows how many times, like 3 times. So this building last showed a movie in 1986. And then all kinds of changes happened. 3 different churches owned it. It was changed every time. This floor that you're standing on is not the original floor. And if you go out under that hallway, you look up, you can see new plywood up there. That's the classrooms. Because these seats used to go all the way up in the back, 300 of them, some crazy thing like that. So that floor, you're seeing plywood there. The other thing we noticed that was pretty funny is all the framework underneath there is recycled wood. One of the pieces was charred. 2 pieces are green and have like notches taken out, but who knows what those were. So definitely we're starting to expose some of the history of this place, which is really cool. There was an intermediate step in here where they had ripped all the sheetrock off of the inside foyer, and we saw the old wallpaper of probably one of the churches, had to be one of the churches, and it was embossed white. Yeah. Somebody came to me and said, hey, they had been watching the front come off, and they said, we saw, it said Chester Theatre under there. Well, it turned out that it didn't say Chester Theatre. It said Chester Community, something like that. Well, Christian Fellowship, Chester Christian Fellowship. Turns out, 1986, when this building was purchased by a church, the original church that bought the building in the 80s was called Chester Christian Fellowship, but then the name changed to Vineyard, and then it went back to Chester Christian Fellowship. So I don't know if that's the first one or if that was the second one. Interesting history as we unfold. So what's going to... Okay, let's go to the pictures of the sign. So they were storing this in separate pieces and not putting the glass on yet. Now they are actually putting it together. That's the front piece that goes like this. Does that make sense? Okay, so the open spaces are the marquee where we're going to have the letters, which I'm going to have Brack put on there. No, I'm thinking, man, I'm going to have somebody who's really good at getting those letters up there. And there's another picture that shows that. So they're actually putting it together in the form in which it's going to be shipped. Our cost on that sign included, not only included shipping, which is a specialty for this company, they actually do shipping for signage for other companies and government agencies. So this is their specialty. It includes shipping and it includes installation. So this is a beautiful thing. This picture gives you a little bit more of the size. By the way, that white triangle, it's an obtuse triangle, big angle in the middle there. That is where the soffit is going to be. So that's, as you walk in, that's what's going to be over you. You're going to be under it. Yeah. A little prepositional issue there. All right. I think that's all I have from him, right? Okay. Timeline. So, right now, we have cleared out my office and Susie's office, and that has become a nursery. And it's so darn cute and cozy and warm up there. And it smells right, which that other basement nursery room just had this cave smell to it. And so it is beautiful, and it's really nice. And I was going to ask Jenny if she could leave those furnishings there when it gets turned back to my office, because I really like that glider rocking chair. It's so comforting. And the little go sleep on the shag rug. Next week, Kai, can you address where everybody's going next week? Because it's just changing by the hour, and it's nobody's fault, and everybody's been flexible.
Yeah, I think the biggest... We okay?
Oh, okay. So you just have to talk out loud.
We're hearing it out there. I think our biggest... here we go. I think our biggest obstacle that we have here is just that, is the scheduling. When it gets into kind of a discovery mode, which any remodel tends to be, kind of all bets are off. As we've already seen, we weren't really supposed to be tearing off the front till I think this week. So we have an opportunity to get the project moving along, and it's just going to be kind of evolving as we pull stuff apart. Flexibility is going to be the biggest key word, I think, for the congregation right now. We just don't know to what extent we're going to be demoing. The good news is we will not be demoing to the front row, so there should be plenty of room for everybody. As we come in, I think my biggest concern is for the safety of everybody. We're going to have some lead time, but we're only have about a day to kind of react of, okay, what's coming next, so to speak. So I just ask everybody here to be real cautious as they come in, look around, look at your surroundings. I'm going to do the best I can do as far as safety goes. Open wiring boxes, stuff like that, as far as I'm concerned, is unacceptable. I do see some of that stuff, so I'll be policing that as much as I can. Brett, God love him, he's got a window of opportunity, so I think we have to kind of give him carte blanche to do as he feels fit. Bring your jackets. The outside,
for a while.
The outside's going to be coming in, so to speak, because there's some demo that we just can't expect him to be replacing before we have an opportunity to have service here. He has said that he's going to guarantee us access here. My biggest concern is safe access and safe egress too. We're just going to have to remember that if there is an opportunity, if there is a situation where we have to leave here, which we hope there won't be, but in an emergency situation, we're going to use these exits. I prefer not to use the side exit into the park. It's a heck of a step off that little deck. So let's try to keep that in mind. And just like the key word is flexibility. You know, we just don't have a whole bunch of leeway right now. So That ramp was a great idea for summertime. It's not a winter. It's on the, even a San Diego guy knows that you don't build a ramp on the slope side of a building, although I did build that ramp. But so that's not going to be an access point for us at this point. It's too slippery. It's just not workable.
In wheelchairs. This is Brett's goal, and I understand, like he said, he may not be able to meet his goal at all times, but his goal is to keep us entering from that front door, walking this way. We have to use this hallway for some of the storage because we have to, after church, or are we doing that after church today? I mean,
Yeah.
we keep having to adjust it, which is nobody's fault. It's just the way it is. We are clearing a lot of that stuff out of the bottom because Monday, they're like seriously going into the front. So I don't, to what degree, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's kind of the tentative schedule. There'll probably be a little lax period before he gets the big beams here and stuff start really happening. But at some point, all the parking will even disappear out front the way I visualize this. I don't know this for the fact because he's in control of that. But there has to be some accommodation for the equipment it's going to take to set the beams to do the construction work. So we'll just have to do our best communicating to you guys where to park. I think most of our parking is kind of offsite anyway. As you can tell, the back is pretty much snowbound at this point. And I think it's just trying to get safely in and out. And, thank God for the opportunity to do this to our building. And
well, and I have to tell you something. In the beginning, even last year, as we started to plan for this, Kai, having the experience that he does in construction, would tell me, well, Gwen, you need to think about this and this and this and this. And I would kind of go, oh, okay. And then I'd promptly forget. And then when this suddenly happened, Kai would say, Gwen, here's what we need to do, this, 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 this. And I'd think, yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen like that because Brett said this over here. And 3 times this week I've gone, Kai, you were so right. I am just, whatever you say, I will do. Because I've been wrong every time thinking, Brett said, I got one more day on that. We can wait. Yeah, no. Every single time I'm running to keep up. So listen to Kai. That's the lesson.
That's the thing. We just don't know what we're going to be up against. So everybody's eyes on the building. Security is an issue.
Yeah.
We're opening it up like a can of worms, so to speak. And you can't expect at this juncture, I don't feel, getting someone that's donating his time and his labor to add that extra layer of security, the things that you would normally think you would have. I just don't think we're going to have that. So as people drive by this front of the streets, keep your eye on your home. This is our home. And just be flexible about, you might have to walk a little further, and, we'll try to keep as much access as we can, but things are going to fluctuate.
Okay.
This gal here, you guys all know, Janae, she has put in an incredible amount of effort and time into changing the classrooms around. Not a lot of parents with kids here, but
second service.
That's going to change. That's going to be evolving. That's his next area, that meaning the classrooms there. That's going to have to get opened up for structural beams to support this whole front. So at some point I see the possibility of, I'm really fighting to keep the kids inside. As you've noticed, the new building out back, it's behind schedule. I see it being a pipe dream, so to speak,
in the winter.
Having it up and running right when we're going to need it. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have some, and I think it's a blessing to have the kids have to come into church. This is part of the learning curve of sitting in church. So I think we're going to experience that. And Janae has a few things.
So yeah, one of the main impacts on the kids is the nursery and the toddler's room will stay upstairs until we're told we have to move out. Hopefully we don't. But the older kids who usually are upstairs in this room over here will have to stay in the service. So those of you who come to the 10:30 service will be experiencing the kids in the service, but they will have either a packet or something that goes along with the sermon so that they can follow along as well. And that will be until we can either move back into that room upstairs or we can move outside into the trailer.
Any questions for Janae while we've got her up here? Please pass that word along when you hear people talking. On Facebook, I received some messages from others asking saying, you guys look like you're under construction. Are you closing down the Friday night movies? Are you guys really going to have church in there? And yes to all that. And let me tell you, Brett's goal is the exact same. I want to keep you guys open for everything. As a matter of fact, we held we held the Wednesday night study in here also. Again, bring Eddie Bauer jacket. Bring good jackets, wear boots, don't wear pumps like this. Your feetsies get cold. Any other question? Get the word out to people you know who have kids that we will accommodate the children. Yes, Dave.
Seems like we could come up with 7 fellas that could sleep here once a night.
I almost slept here Friday night
I know,
to
but
Saturday. We don't need
all it takes is one 2 a.m. visit, and all of that stuff's gone.
Oh, that's so funny. No, I think we're good the way we are right now. We don't want to step too much forward. And by the way, it's been a beautiful thing. Just at the time when we were having to really work to make security work, one of our attendees here moved into the trailer. Is that Ed Bishop's, he said? Or Ed Bishop's property right here. She has full view of the back end of our building all the time. And she walks this all the time. And it's a real blessing that happened at this moment.
And I'd like to add to the security thing. Everybody here should know that all this property is covered with cameras. This property, the alarms, I'm coming in the morning, turning them off, and coming at night, turning them back on. So we still have alarms. We still have cameras. So it might get to the point where it's going to be old school, like bring your guitars
Right.
and not leave the guitars. But there again, this isn't this is Brett Womack. He does this for a living. He's a licensed contractor. He carries a certain, whether it's a donated labor or not, he still carries a certain liability to make his projects safe and secure. So I don't think we need to get paranoid over, and also this is Chester. This isn't Riverside. So I think we're going to be okay. We'll have things as secure as possible, and then we'll have to count on the Lord and our own good wisdom to do the rest. So.
Right, and just eyes open if you see things. That really makes a difference. It really does. We've had a few situations where that has made all the difference. That somebody spoke up, hey, I saw somebody, blah, blah, blah. Because we have had thefts on our property. We've had things stolen out of the furnace room. We have had vandalism here. We've had all those things that everybody else gets, except for probably in lower quantity than in Riverside. Any last questions before we take a break? Yeah. I will write you out something, or unless you want to look, this would probably work just as well. I think what we want to get out on radio too is that we are open. Friday night movies are running. Yes. Perfect, yeah, all of that. Everything that's normally running. No. No, and the adjustment is that your kids are going to go to a different spot. It may get chilly in here. We spent this weekend opening the building up while we were in it to air it out because there's a lot of that fine reconstruction dust. Poor Renee had so much work to do. We wiped down all the seats on Friday and the arms. The guys did extra vacuum. There's just extra little work to do. So if you have nothing to do, you can call me and say, hey, do you have a little extra that you clean up, especially before Wednesday night study, before Friday nights and Sunday. We're not going to worry about all of it in between. He's got to be able to do whatever he's got to do. But when we're getting ready to get everything going, it's nice when a couple people come in and help. Because Susie and Dave and all those guys, everybody's been working overtime to get that done. Any last questions? I will end by saying this. I love what Carrie said last week in her talk and her teaching, that love is the peace that's different, and even in this, that Christ's love has us walk differently towards the difficulty. And I would say that is what it's like. And any couple who's tried to remodel a house, that's what it's like remodeling a building in which a church meets. We're all family. We got to love each other through this process. Choose love and not frustration, especially if you're in leadership, especially if you volunteer here. You're going to find, hey, that thing isn't over there that I usually work with. Or, hey, where's this and where's that? A lot of times I just go, I don't know, because I have to go dig through boxes because we had to box things up. All right, let's pray and I'll let you go. Lord, thank you so much for the gift of this remodel. Thank you so much for your provision, because in the delay, so many more financial provisions were made that we are going to be able to cover the materials of this remodel. And I thank you for the way you work in adversity, the way you work in unplanned things, and the love from which all of this congregation approaches this. Thank you for patience. Thank you for faith in you and what can be done in this as we move forward. In your name and in your glory. In your Son's name, amen.